Find other great podcasts like this one at podmoth.network.
This is Tracy.
This is Samantha.
This is The Suspended Sentence.
Grab your latte and join us as we enter Season 2, starting January 1st of 2024.
A year packed full of serial killers that you may or may not have ever heard of.
Thanks for being there.
Stay safe.
Podmoth.
Dans notre quotidien, c'est sur Taïwan.
Located on the edges of your radio static, you've stumbled upon the Lost Signal, your podcast destination for tales of horror and the macabre, brought to life with voice acting and sound effects. New episodes are released every 2 weeks on Monday on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever else you get your podcasts. Join us, won't you?
Welcome to the Brutal, Bizarre, and Boozy podcast. I'm Declan, the son.
And I'm Jane, the mom. This is the podcast where we talk about brutal crimes, bizarre occurrences, and get you drunk with cocktails themed around one of our stories. To lighten things up, we'd like to end our time with a chaser. Please keep in mind some of our stories might be upsetting to young or sensitive ears.
We love hearing from our listeners, so feel free to contact us by email or social media. You can find our contact info in the show notes for this episode. If you'd like to support us through Patreon, you can find us there at Brutal, Bizarre, and Boozy Podcast, or use the link in our show notes.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us once again for another episode of Brutal, Bizarre, and Boozy. How are you today, Mom?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I got
Awesome.
some stuff sitting in the crock pot that I'm waiting for. So
Fun.
That's exciting.
That is exciting.
What story do you have for us today?
I have a story about a murder that I have been waiting months and months and months for some resolution. And I was checking on it regularly and I was like, this is going nowhere. And finally, the end of last year, there's been the finishing of the case. So it's a interesting little missing person turned murder kind of thing. So what story do you have? Yes, it does. It is an interesting story.
I'm going to preface this with a little viewer discretion.
Oh, no.
I'm going to be talking about the Finders Cult. I don't know if you've heard of that before.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, your discretion advised. But to go with this story, I have Warehouse C. And I'm excited for this cocktail.
I am too.
So you're going to need, it sounds
looks
delicious.
Yes.
So 1 whole strawberry, 1.5 parts bourbon, 3/4 part lemon juice, 1/4 part lime juice, 1/4 part orgeat, 1/4 part cinnamon syrup, 1/4 part ginger syrup, 1 dash aromatic bitters. Which I gotta say, the fractions throw me off. 1/4 part.
Same. Yeah,
I just
the
use
parts.
Ounces instead of parts.
Same.
So muddle the strawberry in a shaker and then add the remaining ingredients. Shake with ice and strain into a chilled cocktail glass or coupe. And let's go ahead and give this a try. I'm super excited for this. Sounds like a good 4th of July drink.
I think it's going to be delicious. It smells delicious.
Yeah, Yeah.
It is delicious.
I think
Yes.
I think I would use less cinnamon syrup next time. I'm not a huge fan of cinnamon, but
Yeah.
it
It's
doesn't
just a small amount, though.
Yeah. I think that it's too much syrup in general with the orgeat,
Well,
and the strawberry. You know me, I don't like
See-
super sweet drinks though, but
it's not very sweet. I think it's because I had the strawberries tasted good, but maybe I grabbed one that was more on the sour side because
sour
mine's a
side.
little tart. But instead of the cinnamon syrup, you could do just ginger syrup
yeah.
because it's not strong on the ginger.
Mm-mm.
Mm.
Okay.
That's delicious.
Let's get into my depressing story.
Okay.
I decided to do this because all the Epstein files came out recently, and this was kind of like a precursor
Right.
to that a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Geeks.
on February 4th, 1987, 2 young men were arrested after a civilian called the police over child neglect. These 2 men were accompanied by 6 children between ages 2 and 8 covered in bugs and dirt and were hanging out in a
Oh.
park in Florida.
Oh, I don't like it already.
Michael Houlihan and Douglas Ammerman were arrested after telling police that they were the children's teachers and that they were taking the kids from Washington, D.C. to Mexico to establish a school for the gifted and brilliant.
What?
Yeah. It only gets weirder from here,
already.
so just...
The story. Okay.
So they were originally arrested for child abuse, and inside their van, the police found around 20 floppy disks, a single mattress, maps, a computer, which at the time is very rare to have.
Yeah.
in
You said
a
87?
van. Yeah, in a van, nonetheless,
So-
in your home. Like not.
It's not a
don't-
laptop.
No, it sounded
It's a
like it was
giant
a desktop.
computer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Logbooks, radio, a Chinese to English translation book, condoms, and some CSAM.
No. Yuck.
Yes.
No.
Most of the kids
Okay.
were nonverbal when questioned by police and seemed in a trance-like state, except for a 7-year-old girl named Mary Houlihan. But I will say a lot of the kids had fake names like Benjamin Franklin and BB.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Do we need to clarify what CSAM is? I think we've used that acronym before, but maybe somebody hasn't heard that episode. We'll say child
Kitty porn.
exploitation. Yeah, okay.
It's just gross stuff. Worst of the worst.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So when Mary was asked about her name, she replied, "Which one?"
Oh.
Yeah, but Mary Houlihan was the one she stuck with. So
Okay.
when police asked Mary about any abuse, she became distraught and wanted to end the interview. She also told police that they would only be given raw vegetables and fruits, and they'd only be fed as a reward for good behavior. She also said that she lived
Okay.
with a bunch of quote-unquote teachers and children.
Teachers.
The police that
I don't like
arrested these
that.
guys called the police in D.C. and were surprised when the D.C. police knew all about them. They claimed that they belonged to a cult called the Finders. After D.C. police were contacted about the children, they went to the parents of the children and questioned them about their missing kids, to which they said, "Oh, they're just on a trip with their teachers."
Okay.
Since none of the parents wanted to press charges, the 2 men that were arrested were let go.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this is kind of where it starts to get a little strange. Even
Oh,
stranger,
'cause it
I should
wasn't
say.
strange already?
Even stranger. According to U.S. District Court records in Washington, a confidential police source had previously told authorities that the finders were a cult that conducted brainwashing techniques at warehouse and a Glover Park duplex in D.C. The source told of being recruited by the finders with promises of financial reward and sexual gratification, and being invited by one member to explore Satanism with him, according to the documents. According to the affidavit, the source told authorities that the children were used in rituals by the members.
No.
Police determined that the founder of the finders was a man named Marion Petty. Marion Petty. And the group consisted of about 40 adults and an unknown number of children. They used multiple properties, including a duplex in D.C., a warehouse in D.C., and a farm in Virginia.
Yuck.
A few days after the two men were arrested, a warehouse owned by Marion Petty was raided by D.C. police. Inside, they discovered high-tech cameras for the time, like consistent with making movies, like high-quality shit you'd watch in the theaters. High-quality photos for the time, not just like Polaroids. Well, they did find Polaroids too, but like real, like children's clothing, toys, computers, software, documents containing super bizarre things like breaking into the Pentagon and how to kidnap children.
These were the documents they found, like an instruction manual?
Mm-hmm. Like a plan to break into the Pentagon, and documents containing tons of different contacts all over the world. This is China, Africa, Russia, and oddly enough, Bahamas, which, if you remember from our Peter Nygaard episode, that's where he lived.
Okay.
Ritualistic paraphernalia and bags upon bags of Polaroids of children. Some were closed, some were not.
Are you going to tell us who, because you mentioned there were 40 adults that were located and a bunch of kids. Were the kids, did they belong to all of those adults, or were these kids had they been kidnapped from other families? Do you know?
A lot
or
of them
is it both?
They were both, yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to go into some of the things like that, but some of them were.
Yeah, no, I was just.
Some of the adults in the cult were designed for
using
pregnancy.
their own children.
That's how they would breeding program things. I don't want to get into that though, because that's.
Yeah.
gross.
No, I was just wondering if, because we've talked about a few different cults.
Kidnapping, but they didn't steal these kids. These were their parents willingly let them have them.
Okay. I was wondering if the kids were like the adults that were found in this group, the members of this cult, were they supplying the children as their own children? Do you know what I'm saying?
Saying that they're their kids?
Like if Dad and I joined a cult and we said, here's our son, you can be part of the cult too if you were a child versus an adult.
I didn't see any specific cases about that, but I'm sure that happened. But I'll get into it a little bit later. But a lot of the information on this cult never really came out until recently. And you'll see why. So police reported that among all the photos of the children they seized, some were CSAM and some depicted evidence of satanic rituals. This included a few pictures of a child being held down by chains and multiple images of children killing a goat, letting its blood out, dismembering the goat, and other satanic rituals, all while wearing white robes.
I hate this.
Yes, it's a fucking
I hate this
awful
so
story.
much.
When police raided the farm, they also talked to the neighbors who would constantly see vans full of kids who were often crying, driving in and out of the property.
Oh, Did they report that shit at any point?
They probably did once, but I couldn't find much information on the neighbors. They discovered a video room capable of producing high-quality movies and a bizarre room that can only be described as a ritual room filled with jars of piss and shit.
Okay.
A detective who was investigating this case set up a meeting with the FBI to try and seek justice for these children. He was very confused when a CIA agent walked into the room instead of the FBI.
Yes.
The CIA agent told the detective... So he told the detective that this case is now an internal CIA matter, and he is no longer going to investigate any further. Yep. Internal CIA matter, not just a CIA matter.
No.
Internal CIA matter.
I hate this.
Just a side note, when Marion Petty was questioned about the finders, he claimed that the finders were reporting and business consultants. And he would reportedly send his finders to rival companies overseas to see how they ran in a sort of spy way to bring back to other companies. And she'd be like, oh, your rivals are doing this. Here's how you can beat them. So there's like, they're going all over to China, all these like contact places. So sounds kind of CIA-ish to me, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So all that stuff happened in the 1980s and not much really came from it. No real arrests, no convictions, nothing. And in 1993, the DOJ opened an investigation into a conspiracy between the CIA and the finders, to which they responded with, the only reason the CIA had ties to the finders was because the farm was a front for CIA training grounds.
Oh.
However...
Hey.
I don't want to spoil anything. Okay.
Okay.
It was also discovered that Marion Petty's son also worked for the CIA, and I believe his late wife as well. This dude's got ties. He also was in the military for a little while, but not CIA.
Ugh.
In 2017, some police reports from the arrest of 2 men were released. In these reports, a strange story was relayed. Around the time of the arrest, a college student found a computer on the ground at his campus. He brought it to his dorm and got it started when he discovered ritualistic abuse material and immediately turned it in to the police, which they determined it belonged to the finders.
Good for him.
But also, he just stole a laptop or a PC.
Well, okay, but if you're walking down the street and there's a computer sitting on the ground, are you going to pick it up and take it home?
No, because what if there's child porn on it?
Well, true, but good point.
So that was there was a bunch of information that was released in that group from the Tallahassee Police Department, but I kind of mixed it in so that they didn't release that they found the CSAM and the condoms and all that in the van until 2017, but I just wanted to get it so you have a better picture of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because that would be enough to hold them. They wouldn't get released if they told the... So it was weird that they got released in the first place. But in 2019, the FBI released some heavily redacted documents that were relating to detailed some of their findings before being forced to shut down by the CIA. So they had already started looking in before this guy tried to have a meeting with them, but he was the main investigator. Okay. So he was trying to meet with the FBI and be like, here's all the stuff I have. Let's work together on this. And that's when he got met with the CIA.
Okay.
So one of the first weird things was the first time the finders ever had contact with the FBI began in 1971.
This is the long-standing cult.
Yeah.
Wow.
The documents also described a plan for the finders to take over the government in Culpeper, Virginia, near the farm. Who knows if they were successful or not? There was also evidence that bodies were buried on the farm. However, there was no bodies found. And sadly, no one was
Okay.
ever convicted in the connection to the finders.
What?
hmm Reportedly, they disbanded in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, but who knows
What
if
about
they
this
actually
Marion
did.
Petty guy?
He died.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
Fucking-
really confused.
Yes, everyone is. So another thing that was in those FBI documents, they kind of like write a conclusion, I guess, at the end of their
Okay.
findings, and they're like, the guy who wrote it was like, this is why I believe that the CIA and the finders are connected. And then it's 3 pages of fully redacted information.
Oh, man, that's
Yeah.
bullshit. I need to know
know.
why he thinks they're connected and why they were connected. I mean,
Yeah. They
I-
definitely were. I mean,
I can't imagine that it was just, well, the CIA owned this property, this farm, and they decided to just lease it out to somebody. And they were like, hey, this guy can pay the rent. And then that's it.
so there was
I don't think
another,
that's what
like,
happened.
another offshoot of the Finders company that was owned and worked with the CIA for like computer training. And so they think that the CIA started this computer training program and then they went off the rails, but you'd think they'd stop it if it was this off the rails. So I don't know. It just reminds me
Smells
a
like
lot
a
of
cover-up.
the Epstein stuff that's happening. So
Yes.
figured I'd.
Smells like a cover up.
Oh yeah, I think it looks like one too.
Yeah.
Tastes like one too, probably.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Those poor kids. Like, ugh,
It's
wow.
just, it's ridiculous that there's more than one of these situations going on where the CIA
Yeah.
or some form of government is involved in human trafficking and
Yes.
child abuse. It's just,
Yes.
it blows my mind.
It's so tragically sad. I would love to say it's shocking and surprising, but I feel like in this day and age, maybe we're all just desensitized and we're like, "Pff, of course it was. Of course it was."
Yeah. I just think it's crazy how the CIA is wrapped up in every single like conspiracy.
Everything.
Like, if I were the CIA,
Yes.
I'd be like, here's all the proof why we didn't kill JFK. I mean, people
Yes.
still aren't going to believe him, but
Right.
it's, I don't know. It's stupid.
Wow. It is. I don't like it.
Our taxpayer money goes to this type of shit.
Mm. Yeah. Not good.
Okay. Well, hopefully your brutal story is better than
Okay.
my bizarre one.
Mine at least has some resolution to it, which is
Okay,
why
that's
I
good.
was watching this and waiting for the resolution because I have just been eyeing it. And so I happened to look it up and I was like, oh, how long is this going to take? And I was like, oh my God, it's over. It's done. I can finally figure it out. My case is about Ana Walshe, and it started as a missing persons report a few days after New Year's 2023, and it ends with a murder case. But the murder case is without a body. So it's one of the unique ones because there's no body. Ana Walshe was born Ana Lubicic in 1983 in Belgrade, in what was then Yugoslavia. She grew up in Belgrade and later earned a bachelor's degree from the University of Belgrade. In 2005, Ana moved to the U.S. and eventually became a dual citizen, building a career in hospitality. She met Brian Walshe while she was working at a hotel during those years in Massachusetts. Ana and Brian married in 2016, and she took his last name, becoming Ana Walshe. They went on to have 3 sons together, who were just 2, 4, and 6 years old at the time she disappeared. By early 2022, Ana's career had really taken off. She had left her hospitality jobs and was now working for a major real estate company in Washington, D.C. That job meant she split her time between the family home in Cohasset, Massachusetts, and a residence in Washington, D.C. Brian, on the other hand, had serious legal trouble of his own prior to all of this. In 2021, he pleaded guilty in federal court to 3 fraud charges related to selling fake Andy Warhol artworks. Because
He's
of that
the tomato
case,
soup guy, right? Andy Warhol.
I don't know.
Okay, sorry.
I don't
distract. I'll look
know.
it up.
That's okay. He was an artist from, I want to say, the 60s. But
yeah,
Brian
he's
got
the
in trouble.
Tomato soup guy. Sorry.
Okay.
I'll stop interrupting.
Brian had some artwork that he was claiming was true Warhol, and he sold it, and then the buyer found out it was fake, and so he got arrested for art fraud. Because of that case, at the time Ana vanished, Brian was on house arrest under federal supervision, waiting to be sentenced for those fraud charges. What?
I feel
Looking
like
at
I
the
could
art?
make some of these artworks.
Oh, but don't, and try and sell it as real.
No. Yeah.
I mean, you could make it. You could make it. Just don't say that it's real. Who cares if you make it? Just don't say it's real. On New Year's Eve 2022, Ana and Brian spent the evening at their home in Cohasset with a family friend. They had dinner together to ring in the new year. In the very early hours of January 1st, 2023, after midnight, Ana tried reaching out to people close to her. She attempted to call her mother, her sister, and her maid of honor, but none of them were available at the moment. I mean, she's calling after midnight.
Yeah.
I'm not answering the phone. All my friends out there, if you're calling me after, I don't care if it's New Year's or not, I am asleep and I will not answer your call. It has been reported that Ana was last seen around 4 a.m. at the house in Cohasset. And I'm assuming that's how you pronounce that. I'm pretty sure it's Cohasset. I don't know.
Sounds good
I
to
just
me.
looked at
I
it
don't
and
know.
went, because some of those Massachusetts, some of the Eastern Coast names
yeah,
of towns
they're
are
confusing.
not what we assume. But, you know, Oregon, half the country can't pronounce that, even the state correct, let alone some of the cities and areas in it. So it's fine. It's fine.
True.
Ana had actually been scheduled to fly to D.C. on January 3rd for work. When she didn't arrive to her job in D.C., her work reported her missing. Incidentally, Brian also reported Ana missing that same day. Police went to the Walshe home on January 4th to perform a wellness check. They discovered Brian's vehicle with the back seats down and a plastic liner in the back of the vehicle. Yep. You heard that right. I think your mic is muted.
I muted. I said, that's suspicious.
Yes. A plastic liner in the back of your vehicle is suspicious.
Yes.
The vehicle also appeared that the floors of the vehicle had recently been vacuumed. So there's like vacuum lines through the carpet. According to
Less
Brian.
suspicious, but.
Well, in addition to the plastic liner, the two things together
Maybe he
make
just
it more
likes a clean car.
Maybe. I mean, anything's possible. According to Brian, Ana left home early on January 1st for a work emergency in Washington, D.C. He told investigators that Ana took a rideshare to the airport. She had an earlier, like I said, she had planned to fly on January 3rd, but according to Brian, she moved that flight up. And she was flying out of Boston's Logan Airport so that she could make it to DC early for this work emergency. That's his story, and he's sticking to it.
Okay.
Brian also said he spent New Year's Day in the town of Swampscott, Massachusetts, visiting his mother. This timeline of Ana rushing off to DC for work and Brian going to see his mom would quickly become a key part of the investigation. And so, of course, police started checking into his story. Investigators couldn't find any evidence that she had ever made it onto a plane on January 1st or to her originally booked flight for January 3rd. On top of that, her credit and debit cards showed no activity at all after January 1st. Ana had simply vanished with no digital footprint and no confirmed travel to DC. As police began to dig deeper into Brian's version of events, the timeline he gave them started to come apart. Shocking. He told them he went to CVS and Whole Foods in Swampscott on January 1st while supposedly visiting his mother. But when police checked the surveillance looking for evidence of those errands, they couldn't find anything. He wasn't at any of those places. Instead, investigators found on the morning of January 1st, Brian actually had been in a Lowe's in Rockland, Massachusetts, where he spent over $400 on cleaning supplies, a hammer, wire snips, and items, of course, that would later look very sinister in context with his
Gotta break up the
wife
shopping.
missing and all. Yeah.
Go to Lowe's and then a Home Depot and then something else.
Right. For that purchase, he was wearing a mask covering his nose and his mouth, like an N95 mask. You know, it's COVID-ish. I mean, it's not COVID-ish times, but people still
could get
were
away with
wearing
it,
them
yeah.
occasionally. Right. Without many people giving you a side eye or anything. But he had a mask covering his nose and mouth, and he paid for everything in cash. Police were able to secure a search warrant for the Walshe home in Cohasset. In the basement, they found blood and a damaged, bloody knife. Those discoveries shifted the entire tone of the case from a missing person to a likely act of violence inside of the home. Less than a week after Ana was last seen, police arrested Brian Walshe. At that point, he was not charged with murder. Instead, he was charged with misleading a police investigation because he's lying and they said, don't do that.
Yeah.
Essentially lying to investigators and sending them on a wild goose chase about where he'd been and what he'd done after Ana had disappeared. Brian pleaded not guilty to misleading the police, but the investigation continued and they found more suspicious evidence. As they went through electronic devices, investigators uncovered some pretty damning Google searches. These searches were done on multiple devices, including one of the couple's young son's iPad. Among the search topics that Brian looked up are questions like, how long before a body starts to smell?
Oh, I know this case now. I know what
Yeah.
I've heard this. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
the Google searches.
Dismemberment and the best ways to dispose of a body. And can you be charged with murder without a body? Were just a few. There were a lot of Google
It was
questions.
like pages of Google questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Suspicious Google searches were made starting very early in the morning of January 1st and continued for 2 days. And as I was researching this, I had a thought about, we've done a couple cases where Google searches were like instrumental in leading investigators in a direction. What if you do incognito search?
It still tracks it. It tracks it
It's
by your IP, I
it's
believe.
just not leaving cookies for it, right? Like if somebody took the laptop and looked at everything on it, they would still see the incognito searches, right?
Forensic, like computer people can do that. Yeah. I
would think so.
I mean, I'm sure
I don't think you can
any
hide
computer savvy person could look at it, but I would just you get your N95 and a wig and you go to the library. And if anyone asks, you're writing a novel. You're writing a horror.
I'm doing
novel.
research. Yep. By tracking Brian's movements, investigators found videos of Brian dumping trash bags at multiple dumpsters in nearby towns. By searching the trash, they found a bloody rug, Anna's COVID vaccine card, a hatchet, a hacksaw, clothing, and bloody rags with both Anna and Brian's DNA on them.
Yeah, that's pretty damning
There's
evidence.
some stuff. Yep. A couple of weeks after her disappearance, Brian was arrested again, this time on much more serious charges. He was charged with the murder of Ana Walshe and with disinterring a body without authority, essentially illegal handling and disposing of human remains.
What was the first word you said? Disinterring?
Disinterring.
Never heard that word before.
Yeah,
legal
that's
jargon
like
is stupid.
Digging up. I think that's like digging up a body, but I think they use it for any mishandling of human remains. Maybe. I don't know. But that's what they charged him with. Prosecutors alleged that Brian killed Anna, dismembered her, and disposed of her body. They relied heavily on the forensics evidence found in the home and digital evidence from his searches to support that theory. Brian pleaded not guilty to the murder and related charges. Of course. Of course he did, which is why it took so long for any resolution of this, because he didn't say, I did it. At the end of March, he was indicted by a grand jury on counts of first-degree murder, misleading a police investigation, and what Massachusetts law calls improper conveyance of a human body. From 2023 into 2025, the case moved slowly through the court system. The prosecutor's theory was that Brian killed Anna in the early hours of January 1st after that New Year's Eve gathering with their friend, and then he tried to cover it up. They argued that the combination of the timeline, the physical evidence in the home, and the extremely incriminating search history all pointed squarely at Brian. Well, it didn't point at anybody else.
Yeah.
The defense maintained that Brian was not guilty of murder.
It was
the
he
kid.
Looked him up on the young child's iPad. Yeah, it was the kid that did it, and he just looked the rest up on his dad's iPad.
The 2-year-old did it.
The 2-year-old did it.
Of course, the defense said that Brian was not guilty of murder, and they challenged the idea that a murder couldn't be proved beyond a reasonable doubt because there wasn't a body. The argument was she just vanished, but she's still alive. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Find her then.
Exactly. On November 19th, 2025, almost 3 years after Anna's disappearance, there was a major development in the courtroom. Brian Walshe changed his plea on some of the charges. He pleaded guilty to 2 of the lesser counts of misleading a police investigation and the improper conveyance of a human body. However, he continued to insist he was not guilty of murdering Anna, and he maintained his innocence in regards to the first-degree murder charge. He claimed, this is his claim, that she died suddenly, unexpectedly. He didn't know what to do, so he just disposed of her body. He didn't actually kill her. He just didn't want to get caught with his wife's deceased body, so his answer was to dismember her and dispose of her. And who would ever look at him? He couldn't, of course. He just didn't know what to do. I mean, when you find your spouse.
Did he say that after he's like Is this long after this happened, or is that the first thing he told police?
No.
Because that sounds like the first
think,
thing you tell police lie. That's like,
right. No.
you have all this time to come up with a
believe-
good answer, and that's it?
I think that was what he finally claimed in court after almost 3 years.
If you're gonna lie, just say you didn't do it.
Yeah.
That's so much better of a lie than,
Yeah.
oh, she died and I didn't know what to do with the body.
So I dismembered her. Yeah. Less than a month later, the jury found him guilty of the first-degree murder of Ana Walshe. 3 days later, Bryant was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
That's good.
Yes. Even though there was no body, they were able to get a conviction. So
Yeah,
it doesn't
I
happen very
remember-
often, but it did this time.
I remember all those the Google
The
searches
Google
came
searches?
out, and like for like 2 weeks, that's all the podcasts I listened to could talk about.
Yeah.
And it's like,
We're like, did
Yeah.
you believe that he wanted to know this?
yeah, just crazy story.
It is. Do you have a chaser for us today?
I do. My chaser is a YouTube channel called Bapcat, Bapkat, and it's
Okay.
a Siamese cat that most of the time wears sunglasses, and
Nice.
its owner will lay out like the white cards from Cards Against Humanity, and then the owner
yes.
will read the prompt, and then the cat pounces on a card and he reads it. It's really
I love
fucking
it.
funny most of the time.
I have seen
really
those
good.
on I've seen that on Instagram. I didn't know there was a YouTube channel, but I love it. And now I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to go check it out.
I saw they're making a card game. I think it's in Kickstarter right now, but like a card game for, oh god, I can't remember what it's called, but like it's like a drinking game for pet owners, and it's like, oh, if you can make your dog do this, you can give out drinks to people. Like,
I
or, like-
love it.
yeah, it
I
looks
need
pretty
that
fun. But I
game.
think it's in Kickstarter right now, so
Okay. Well,
yeah, it's a fun little channel to watch.
that's cool. I like that.
What's
My
your chaser?
chaser is that I got my first tattoo. Yesterday.
Does it feel good today,
Our-
or not good? but
Our
normal?
family, no, it's totally fine. I mean, it's a little sensitive. Like if I rub up against something, it just, but it's not, it almost feels like, you know, when you get a little bit of a sunburn and then you
yeah.
move that part that's slightly burned, that's what
Mhm.
it feels like. But not like a scorcher sunburn, but just like, oh, that's a little,
irritated.
yeah, that's a little sensitive.
That's good.
But
Yeah, I get mine next.
I don't want to say I took it like a champ, but I think I took it like a champ. I laid there on that table and I didn't move and I didn't get up, and it took 3 hours, and I was uncomfortable because I was laying face down, but
Mhm.
it was fine. It was
It's another reason I want to get mine on my knee, because I can just sit in a chair and play on my phone and put my
Yes.
headphones in.
Yes. Well, I thought, I'm getting it on my back. I figured I would be laying down. I just thought maybe that would be like,
Like, what the hunch chairs.
yeah, I was kind of thinking maybe something like that. And actually that would be really good if you had like one of the seated massage chairs that you've seen like at the mall or whatever, where you're face down but your back is exposed. That
Mhm.
would have been cool. I would have had no problem. But as it stands, I didn't really have any problems either, and I had a great time and it was good, and now it's done, and I've already started looking at the next 2 or 3 tattoos that I want. So what they
you
say
were so
about
against getting a tattoo.
I know. I was like, I don't have a problem with people in tattoos and do what you want. I just had always thought I'm not ever going to get one because there's nothing that I want permanently attached to my body. And then we decided to do this family tattoo. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And I was like, well, hell, if I'm going to get that one, might as well look at what other cool shit I could get on there. And, the older I get, the, whatever.
Who gives
The
a fuck?
less
You might
my
as well-
life, whatever. It's fine.
You have to get one of those like oceanic themed arm sleeves.
No,
gym
but I
bros
do
get.
one of the tattoos that I'm getting next is probably going to be a wrist bracelet.
Oh, nice.
So, not a sleeve, but on the wrist, yes.
That gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't
Although
want
I
them
will
to
say
tattoo
that
the tendon part of my wrist. Ugh,
I
God,
have
that's gross.
heard that the wrist is like really, really tender and sensitive and it's going to be painful. And I'm like, whatever, I don't care.
I don't even like to touch that part of my wrist with my body. It wigs me
Yeah.
out because you can feel the tendons. It's gross. Ugh,
Oh, yeah, that doesn't
I
bother
don't
me.
like it. Ugh,
Yeah.
ugh, gives me the heebie-jeebies. Okay. Well, thanks for listening once again, everybody. Love you,
Yes, thank you. Love you too, bud.
Mom.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, friends. Thank you for supporting our podcast. Please share our show with your brutal and bizarre friends. Give us a Boozy follow on your favorite podcast platform. If you're feeling extra generous, we'd appreciate a 5-star rating or review as well. But maybe do that sober so all the letters are in the right place.
You can find all our contact information in the show notes. We love hearing from you, and if you're interested in helping us stock the bar for our future Boozy episodes, you can find our Patreon link in the show notes as well.